This weekend, the new Sam Raimi film, Oz the Great and Powerful, opens in AMC theaters everywhere. While doing a recent press tour for the movie, Raimi was asked about why he ultimately departed the World of Warcraft movie he was developing. Raimi explained that he agreed to do the film and then was given a screenplay for the movie written by the people at Blizzard, the company behind the game World of Warcraft. Raimi didn't think the script worked, so he came up with his own concept and showed it to Legendary Pictures, the studio behind the project, and Blizzard. Both companies gave the okay to write a script based on the concept, although Blizzard had some reservations. 9 months later, Raimi submitted the script, which Legendary liked, but Blizzard vetoed it, leaving Raimi to wonder why they let him spend all that time writing the script if they knew they were already uncomfortable with his concept. Raimi and his writer then tried doing another script, but time became an issue and so he left. Schnepp, what do you think about this whole Warcraft Raimi situation?
It's kind of a bummer. I mean, you sort of, those things happen a lot in Hollywood. Like, there's developments and things fall apart. And I mean,
Superman Lives, for example.
Yeah,
This is an example.
And also Spider-Man 4. Raimi also had a similar situation where he was developing it. They were also at the same time developing another Spider-Man script called The Amazing Spider-Man. They were doing both at the same time. And you know, I think with this Warcraft situation, it's unfortunate because it would have been a cool movie if he directed it. I guess I'm kind of bummed about hearing the information, but it's not like shocking or surprising. So yeah.
I think what this really highlights to me. First of all, we should mention here that Duncan Jones, the guy who directed Moon, is now on board to direct, and that's great. I think he's going to have a fabulous take on World of Warcraft. I've always said World of Warcraft is kind of like the one video game franchise, maybe out of a couple, that I think are situated and set up well to make a good movie. And I think Duncan Jones will be great. But it is really sad knowing that Sam Raimi, especially after I saw Oz the Great and Powerful, he's such a creative filmmaker, and so it is kind of sad he's not going to be there. But I will say this. I often talk to people who will ask me about certain video game movies, and they say, well, if only they got the guys from the game to write the movie. Guess what? Video game makers ain't filmmakers. They're different things. I'm not saying one can't become another or anything like that, or that's impossible. But, if Sam Raimi tells me he looked at a script that Blizzard made and said, hey, this isn't good, then it's not good. Game makers stick to making games. That's what you do best. You come up with these great concepts, then let filmmakers make the films. And that's just one of these things that highlights to me. And for Blizzard, a game company, to tell a filmmaker like Sam Raimi, look, it's one thing if Legendary Pictures, a filmmaking company, says to Sam Raimi, we're not comfortable with this concept or this script or the direction you're going. That's one thing. But for a game company to say to a filmmaker like Sam Raimi, no, we don't like what you're doing. Yeah, no. Game makers, look, just stay out of it. Let the filmmakers make the film. And I like what Raimi said. Look, let Blizzard okay the concept. But Blizzard, if you why okay the concept if you already have reservations, and then tell them 9 months later, nah, we're still not comfortable with the concept. We don't want to go with the script. Yeah.
John, remember this same situation happened to Neil Blomkamp, the director of District 9, and Peter Jackson with Halo. One of the biggest video games ever. Those guys were supposed to direct it and produce it. They had a script, and it all fell apart also. I mean, it happens with video game companies because video game companies are so internal, and they make more money than the movie and television and music industry combined. So they're a force of nature, and when they want to jump into the movie business, even though it's a lesser form of money that they're used to, I think they come with that also. Well, we've been writing the storylines of these 4 sequels in this video game world. That's what we want to stick to. Maybe the filmmakers come at it from a different angle and they're like, all right, try it. So, I mean, I think that's the thing that happens is that they're like, yeah, go ahead and try it, because they're constantly producing and making video games and trying different storylines and scenarios. So in the filmmaking world, it's like, well, we did try it and we thought that was a script. They're like, nah, just try a different version. So it gets really weird there.
Now with the Halo situation, there were other elements going on with Halo, though. I mean, the studios themselves behind the film were never comfortable with Neil Blomkamp as the potential director. There was a lot of other issues, but we could write a book. Actually, you know what? Your next documentary, Schnepp, you and me, we're going to do a what happened to the Halo movie. I think there's just as interesting of a story there.
Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to stop what you're doing and subscribe to our AMC Theaters YouTube channel to keep up to date on all the movie news, editorials, and our AMC Movie Talk Show. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to hear about all our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.